Hey everyone, this week on the That's What She Said with Dani podcast, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to take you guys behind the scenes.
Yeah, we are.
Dani and I are going to take you through, a little pregame show. And we're going to talk about how we prepare for our guests. And then our special guest is going to just hop right into the podcast and we're going to get it going.
It's pretty special in how we get ready for this podcast. It takes hours upon hours of labor, Lex, right? We just grind out those notes. We make a Google Doc and we both just look at it and send each other ideas. We're mostly just like aggressively texting throughout the week of different social things that we've seen and ideas we want to incorporate into the podcast.
So the way it all starts is we come up with a player that we'd want to have on the show. And then we usually DM them on Twitter or Instagram, something pretty professional, asking if they want to come on the podcast and when they're available. And I'd say we've had a pretty strong return. I'd say probably 80% of the players that we've contacted have been willing to come on the podcast. And I understand right now, because everyone's under a stay-at-home order, they don't have too much going on, but the fact that they're willing to lend us their time is pretty amazing.
It's a high success rate, I would say, for two average Josephines putting together this podcast. And it is cool to see these guys who want to talk to us and who are excited and want to tell us about their lives, because sometimes, people are private and that's cool. And we're private too in different aspects of our lives. But I feel like we do a good job of bringing out the best in people. And also they trust us and we trust them. So it's mutually important to have that when you are recording a podcast with professional athletes.
And the whole point of our podcast specifically is to take a different angle on how players handle their lives off the field. We talk a little bit of baseball for sure, because we're both in love with baseball and obviously we're talking to baseball players. But yeah. I think our main focus is to give you guys some insight into their lives, whether they're married with kids or they're single and they go out on the town, whether they're foodies or they watch shows, or whether they're into shoes or cars or whatever it is that makes them human. And that's what we try and pull out of them. And then we end it all with an embarrassing story to make them superhuman and the most relatable possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about just being a person and a human. And we talk about this all the time. These are people. These are just people who happen to be exceptional at something in their lives, and people pay a lot of money to watch them do that exceptional thing, including ourselves. And we're lucky enough to get a chance to pick their brains, see what makes them tick, and laugh. We do a lot of laughing along the way, which we're working on maybe less laughing. Controlling the laughing.
We're trying to be as professional as possible while also having fun. So it's a unique balance that we're learning to strike, which I think has come along pretty well in the podcast. And the cool part about it is, because we now are able to Zoom with these players because they're at home, they are on camera and they can see our reactions to a lot of the things that they're telling us. So
it's wild.
We're all kind of laughing along and having a good time while still remembering that we're trying to be as professional as possible. So we want to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes look. So for example, this week, Dani, who do we have this week on the podcast?
This week, we have Joe Musgrove. Joe is a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you are not familiar, this guy was drafted back in 2011. He made his debut in 2016, and by 2017, Lex, he had won a World Series. No big deal for Joe Musgrove, and I'm really stoked to have him join us today.
Yeah, so he's going to be really awesome, and the way that we do this is, once we have the player confirmed, we'll start throwing out ideas of how we want to make him as relatable to our audience as possible. And the best way to do that is to scour their social. We'll do some research, Googling their name.
Scour is a nice word that you use.
It's a nice word. Yeah. We're digging in the tweets and the retweets and coming up with all kinds of fun photos to get a little bit of a flavor of their life, so we have a baseline to go off of to talk to them about. But what we really want in this podcast is for them to share as much as they can from their lives. So we'll come up with questions, and really, honestly, the best way to do it is to start with a question. And then Dani and I kind of throw it back and forth and wonder, is that the best way to ask that question? Is that going to get the best answer? We call it the sexiest answer in journalism, right?
Yes.
We'll get super nerdy here. And is that going to give us the strongest answer that the audience is going to react to? or relate to. And sometimes we'll go, nope, we need to 360 that question and ask this one instead. So it's a really unique process, but we have a lot of fun. Okay, so like this week, I'll give you guys an example. We were going to ask Joe Musgrove if he could do anything else besides play baseball, what would he do? And I feel like that's a pretty common question that we ask a lot of athletes, right?
Definitely
So
is.
instead, something that we've seen on Twitter recently is people talking about their jobs prior to what they're doing currently. So why not kind of flip the script and ask Joe, what are 2 jobs that you had prior to being a baseball player? So that might be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more relatable. He can talk about those jobs instead of being like, you know what, maybe I'd rather be an astronaut and not really have much to elaborate on. He can actually tell us, I was a waiter at Baskin Robbins, or, you know, whatever the concept is, he can kind of dive into it and then we can go from there.
Yeah, because sometimes I think when people have an opportunity to think too much, then they don't know what to say. And that question takes it from he has to think, if he hasn't thought about it, to, oh, well, he's definitely had 2 jobs before he was a baseball player. Most people have done that regardless of what you've done in life or what you're doing. So just like we are word nerds, I like to say that. And we like to use good words, and we like to think of conversational and different questions, the questions that no one else is asking. So that's like a prime example. And then, you know, we're also trying to find new things that no one else has done. So if you Google Joe Musgrove's name, there are a list of things that come up that other people have wondered about Joe Musgrove. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. So just trying to add new elements, but also we have staples. We have the embarrassing story, which you've had on your podcast for forever. We're adding a new segment on the top. We decided a new way to ask questions, a scale of 1 to 10 instead of just a straight up Q&A. So just trying to like format it and make it the best that it could possibly be. And by the way, through all of this, I've sent Joe's invitation. So, and he's waiting to join. So I'm gonna bring him in the Zoom, Lex.
Let's do it.
Hey-o.
You guys hear me now?
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Oh.
How are you?
Great. How are you guys?
Good. It's Dani and Lexa. We're here in New York, and we want to thank you so much for joining us and hopping on the podcast. Where are you right now? What's going on in your life?
Let me show you guys. I'm in San Diego right now, down in Mission
Are we doing
Beach.
a Cribs tour?
No, just where I'm at.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Super jealous.
Yeah, so it's super nice, but we're not allowed to step foot on the boardwalk or step foot on the sand, so that kind of sucks. But there's a lot worse places to be than down by the beach.
Who are you hanging out with in your stay-at-home order? Who's with you?
So I had Phillip Evans, who's actually a San Diego kid as well, and he was in big league camp with us with the Pirates this year. Me and him got out of Florida on the same day. We were hearing rumors about there being like flights being blocked to get into California, and they were talking about shutting down all the minor league complexes. So we didn't want to be stuck out in Bradenton. We figured we'd try to get home. So came back to San Diego and split the rent on a little beach house here. And he was down here for about 3.5, 4 weeks. And then he had an opportunity pop up to go live for free with a friend in this guest house. So he ended up moving out like a week and a half ago. So, but me and Jordan Luplow, who was with the Pirates, who's now with the Indians, we train together and do our throwing and stuff together. So seeing a couple of guys.
That's awesome. I don't know if there's any better place to be than sunny California right now. At least you can soak up the sun rays. You might not be able to step foot on the boardwalk, but you can get the sunshine. Whereas Lex and I in New York are just like hoping for partly cloudy. I know.
How are you guys doing? It's pretty gnarly out there, huh?
It's a little tough.
Yeah. We're hanging in though. We've got each other. We've got our family, and I don't know. I feel like everyone's kind of rallying around each other. I know I've gotten a flood of texts and calls, and really grateful for that.
From your houses?
Yeah. We both have apartments in the city, so we're separate, but as together as we possibly can be on Zoom and stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah, this Zoom app's awesome. I had no idea about it until the quarantine hit, and I guess it's been around for years.
Well, you just made your own advertisement for Zoom, so I hope they give you some money.
We'll clip that off for you and make sure you can share that.
So, Joe, we want to get to know you in quarantine or you under your stay-at-home order. So we're going to play a game called Scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
So in order to answer, you're going to hold up the number scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least, obviously, and 10 being the most for these questions. So how much has your cooking improved? No way.
Wow.
What are you cooking?
A little bit of everything. My mom's actually full-blooded Sicilian, so growing up, we had all home-cooked meals at the house. And every night we had to either be in the kitchen, kind of learn how to make that dish for the night, or in the kitchen after cleaning everything up. So I learned a lot of different dishes from her, but I've been trying a lot of different pasta stuff. I really love seafood, so I've been trying a lot of different salmon recipes. And then sometimes just whatever I got left in the fridge, just trying to throw stuff together and make something work. Sometimes it sucks, but I've actually had some pretty good meals come out of it. So
Good for you.
Impressive. Okay, so this next question is meant to be kind, but we chose our wording carefully. How many temper tantrums have you thrown while in quarantine? As in, maybe you cried or whined or felt, a little unsure of yourself.
Probably 5. I'm gonna go 5. There's points that I hit where I feel like I had done everything there was to do, and I couldn't find anything left to do. Everyone was gone on our block. I had some pretty cool neighbors, but most of them ended up leaving to go home with their families, so I wasn't able to see them and talk to them either. So I hit that little stretch for 2 or 3 days where I just was losing my mind. But it's been pretty good. I've been staying super busy. I've been doing all kinds of different stuff in the house and, around the neighborhood.
Scale of 1 to 10. How's your snack game right now?
Ooh, snack game.
7.
I'll go 7, yeah. I've been big on trail mix. I think trail mix is the most underrated snack of all time. You get salty, you get sweet, a little bit of everything. So trail mix is my go-to snack.
I'm making a trail mix at home, but it's mostly just M&Ms. There's really no healthy things in it, so I don't know if that qualifies.
The last 3 days we did, the neighbors are back, and we ended up getting a bunch of Easter eggs and doing our own Easter egg hunt in the front yard and backyard. And we've just been eating Easter candy for the last 2-3 days. So I'm candied out.
Yeah, man, I feel you. How would you rate your quarantine binge watching?
Oh, I've watched so many different movies. We actually were going down the Oscar nominees list, just knocking out those movies. And my favorite Netflix show that I'm on right now, and becoming one of my favorite shows I've ever watched, is Money Heist. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but it's actually in Spanish. And they do subtitled in English, but the show's incredible. The actors are really, really good. People that I've never seen before, because obviously I'm not watching Spanish films, but they're incredible actors. It's really good.
So I did Ozark. I'm doing Jack Ryan season 2 right now. So Money Heist is right there on the list, but I hadn't tuned in yet. So yeah, I gotta catch up on that. That sounds good.
Can I make a quick confessional, by the way? I really like watching Netflix shows with subtitles on, even if it's in English.
Yeah, that's the same way I am now. Every movie you put on, if you put the subtitles on, there's always, even if it's a movie you've seen 5 or 6 times, there's always a couple lines that you miss that are super pivotal in the movie that you didn't catch the first few times you watched it. So even rewatching movies, I'm putting subtitles on everything.
Did you watch Parasite?
I did. I really liked it too, and that was
great, right?
I had never been big on subtitled movies, but I feel I don't know if it's the way that they translated into English made it super relatable for someone that speaks English. It sounded halfway through the movie, it sounded like they were speaking English to me. It was weird.
I felt the same way. It was fantastic, and it really blew my mind. There was a lot of hype around it, and I was like, this can't live up to the hype. No way. And then you watch it and you're like, okay, yeah, totally. It did.
Yeah, it turned into a Tarantino film at the end.
It was wild.
Yeah.
All right, scale of 1 to 10. How many group chats have you muted?
Ooh, I'll go 5.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we actually our most important group chat that I want to mute that I can't is our pitchers, our starting pitchers group chat. For the first 2 weeks of the quarantine, it was nothing but good information and pitching stuff and talking about, possibilities of when we're going to get the season going again and what it's going to look like. And over the course of the last 3 weeks, it's become just raunchy, dirty messages and videos that everyone's sending in, just making people laugh, and it's become an absolute zoo. But
you're not participating in the raunchy videos and memes?
I definitely participated, but I run out of stuff to post in there. So,
wow, who's been the worst? Can you call someone out?
Eric Holland, the absolute worst.
What has been the worst thing that he's posted? We have him on the podcast later this week.
Oh, nice. I don't know how appropriate this is, but the the large black man that's been going around the internet. I think everyone's seen him. And then there are quite a few kinds, every single possible one that you can find.
We will ask him about that for sure. Thanks for the info.
I have some of those on my phone saved. We'll have to, Lex, I'll send you some of those.
I got too many on my phone. It's not right.
Okay, 1 to 10. How many major league players have you beaten in a video game?
I think 4.
Can you name them? Call them out.
Jordan Luplow, smoked him in the show. I should have beat Cody Ponce, but Cody Ponce, we were actually I was getting a haircut. I had my barber here, and we're masked up, and I have so I got the mask up here. I can hardly see, and then he's in front of me cutting my hair, so I got one eye trying to play the game, and Cody's talking all kinds of crap on me about how he's beating me, but I still feel like that game's in the mix. I think he ended up beating me by 1 run. But I played him, Derek Holland, and then I played Call of Duty with a bunch of guys. I don't know if you consider that beating them, but we've been playing tons of video games.
Yeah, if you can rack up those kills, it's beating them for sure.
I've been playing so much Call of Duty, it's sickening.
All right, scale of 1 to 10. How many haircuts have you given yourself?
I've given myself 0, but I've gotten 2. I've gotten 2 in the quarantine.
Shout out to your barber.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's keeping me in good shape to look good for nobody.
For all the Zooms that you're participating in. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was for this. Thank you for doing that. We really appreciate it. All right, 1 to 10. How many times have you picked up a baseball bat in quarantine?
I've actually been hitting regularly. There's an indoor facility that we're going to, and it's been 3 of us going at a time and getting our pitching and stuff done, because we've actually had a lot of rain here in the last week or so. So we've been working at indoor facilities and been throwing and doing all our stuff. And then there's cages there as well. So I've been going over and hitting with Luplow and Phillip Evans on that side. So I've been swinging it quite a bit. And I've been swinging this bad boy right here.
Can you describe it for those who are listening to the podcast?
I'm going to do this for you guys. I don't want to, but I'm going to do it so you can see what it is.
Oh!
It's electric fly swatter. I've been having so much dang fun with this thing. Just crushing flies.
Lex, did you see that coming? I did not see that coming.
I thought that was a Wii tennis racket.
No, it's an electric fly swatter. It's the greatest thing. It's by Elucto, Elucto. I would suggest everyone goes and buy ones because they're a blast.
Wow, you have turned morbid in quarantine, my friend.
I mean, the stuff I got going in here is pretty awesome.
Unbelievable. All right, scale of 1 to 10. How many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
Let's see. Probably somewhere in this range, 3 to 4. I usually start off. I've been going to this place. My mom owns a coffee shop, and she's owned it for 20 plus years. So,
are you drinking your mom's coffee?
Yeah, I always have a bag of hers at the house. But I've been
Good answer.
Yeah, right. She's probably listening right now. But I've been trying to support the local businesses as much as I can. So I'm always getting coffee from my mom. But there's a place in Ocean Beach right around the corner called the Tap Shack, and they've been staying open, every day, just kind of serving people and doing delivery orders. So I've been going every Friday and getting refills from my cold brew growler. So I usually have 1 or 2 cold brews in the morning, and then I'll go to my workout, come back, have a coffee at midday, 2 or 3, and then maybe 1 after dinner.
Can I make a quick confession?
What you got?
Yes.
I like how I get closer to the microphone. I've never had a cup of coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
against
better
it?
than coffee. No, I'm better than it.
Oh yeah. Well, you've made it so far. You can't give in now.
Exactly. I'll never give in because I've come this far in my life, and I just feel like if I do it now, it's just cheating on yourself. So
yeah. So what do you use natural energy, or what do? Do you green tea?
I wake up and piss excellence, Joe. It's exactly what happens every day.
She's got mind-blowing energy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Weird. I'm not that weird, but I'm weird because I only drink decaf. But I drink a lot of decaf because I like the taste of it, but I don't like the caffeine.
I don't understand that. What's the point of that?
The flavor is delicious. Coffee is a delicious drink, but I get all hopped up on caffeine. I can't do it.
Get all hopped up on Mountain Dew?
Yeah. Well, that's good. You got the natural energy.
That's right.
Something like
All right,
that.
Joe, you crushed scale of 1 to 10. Thank you for participating.
Nice,
Bravo.
nice.
That. Nicely done. So we want to switch gears a little bit. And I know guys are sitting at home and this is tough. And it's really, it's a mental toll on everyone and trying to figure out when the season's going to start and how to get through this time. So for you as a baseball player, what do you miss most about the game?
I think being in the clubhouse and just being around the guys. Like everyone talks about it being a family all the time, but I mean, you spend more time with those guys in the clubhouse and on the field than you do with your actual families. Just the conversations, and not even baseball stuff sometimes, just like the stories you get to hear, and like everyone's coming from a different walk of life. So getting to talk and dive into guys' backgrounds and where they come from a little bit, and hearing some of the stories about what they have going on in their life, that's the stuff that I think I miss the most, interacting with fans. And then naturally, like as an athlete, there's only, so much you can do in life that can bring you that adrenaline rush and that high that you get from playing against the best of the best. And that's why I love the game so much. That feeling that I get on the mound when you're in a big situation and all the eyes are on you. I mean, you can't replicate that anywhere else in life. So I think I just miss that adrenaline rush and that drive,
That's such a thoughtful answer, because I saw an MLB player tweet the other day, and this is just as fair of an answer, but that he said he missed the post-game celebrations on the plane the most. Like after going on the road and sweeping a series, getting on the plane. What's your craziest plane celebration story that you can tell us without calling any guys out?
Oh man. We had some, probably our flight back from LA after we won the World Series in 17. We had all had like our post-game celebration and our World Series celebration at the Ritz-Carlton. I think it was the Ritz or the JW on the rooftop. Our owner had rented out the whole place, and we partied that whole night. And then we had like a 9 or 10 a.m. flight the next day. And I took it into the morning, just kept it going straight into the flight, as did a handful of my teammates. And we were playing poker, we're music blasting. I think just the energy and the feeling of what we had just accomplished, and knowing that the season was over and we had played as many games as you could possibly play, and we came out on top, was a feeling that I'll never forget.
Can I ask, why are the flights the morning after World Series championships so early? I feel like that is a consistent thing that we see the next day, and you see guys on like morning shows in New York or in LA. Why are they so early?
Yeah, I'm surprised that no one's missed a flight home too. But I know a good portion of our guys, like I think Bregman and Springer and Altuve, they all left to go do Jimmy Fallon and Saturday Night Live and all that. So they didn't even get to enjoy the celebration and all that with us, and the flight back the next day. But it was so cool. I mean, flying in to Houston in the middle, I think we got in around like maybe 3 or 4. And as we landed, we're driving on the tarmac up to where our bus was. And there's 2 big fire trucks that have their ladders all the way out to the top, making like a teepee kind of look. And the plane flew right below the 2, and they had big fire hoses coming off the end of it, like showering our plane down as we came in. Wow. And as we walk off the plane, there must have been 200 to 300 United employees all out there on the tarmac clapping for us and celebrating. We drove back to Minute Maid Park and showed up. There was 5,000 plus fans waiting outside the stadium there to like celebrate and cheer. It was just really cool. It was incredible.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, Joe, I have seen everybody. We talk about this every week on the podcast, and luckily Lex is still approving this question for me to ask about home workouts. And everyone's doing these wild workouts. I mean, Jerry Blevins last week was like, I'm too old. I'm 36. I can't be doing wild workouts anymore. But everybody's doing these like crazy things. I've seen some of your home workouts. Like, walk us through how you're trying to keep yourself ready, keep your arm ready to get back in action when the season comes back.
Yeah, so we've been fortunate enough to be able to have facility. I have a pretty good setup in my garage with like weights and everything, but there's so many things you can do without weights. Even as simple as lifting furniture and doing simple things. Sandbags, whatever you can do. I have a machine here called the X3. It's like a band system where you can replicate just about any lift you would do in the gym. But just trying to repeat the patterns and the movements that you're going to do when you're on the mound. So a lot of hinge patterns, a lot of, core work that you can do from your living room. even body weight stuff, just to go through the range of motions and those patterns that you're going to replicate out on the mound. You know, I've been watching the neighbors. I mean, this whole block's super active. So like looking out the window, you see everyone putting their own little workouts together on their patios and going for runs around the neighborhood. There's tons of different things you can do to kind of keep yourself in shape.
You know, you guys are all working out, but I would personally like to know why there are no baseball players on TikTok. I haven't seen one. Can you guys not dance? What's the deal?
I don't know. I don't get TikTok. I look at it and none of them make me laugh. There's very few videos that I actually laugh at, and it just looks like a bunch of poor dancers that have millions of followers. I really don't get it. I really don't. I don't mean to be the downer, but like I just don't get it.
Oh,
Okay,
man,
so you're not wasting your time TikToking in quarantine, but you're doing some amazing things to help people and to provide as much relief as you possibly can from where you are. What have you been doing and how have you been reaching out?
Yeah, so there's a group in Pittsburgh that I was helping out called Beverly's Birthdays, and I posted a video about them not long ago, but they pretty much try to put together birthday celebrations and provide like birthday cheer for kids that are, you know, homeless or, you know, experiencing trouble with money and whose parents don't have parents or their parents can't afford to throw them parties. This group will, you know, collect money from donations and be able to throw these kids parties and provide, you know, gifts for the kids to open up every year. And right now, the big rush is to get, you know, diapers and baby food and formula for all the little kids out there that, you know, whose parents aren't working and can't afford to get those things for them. So I sent that out, and I had actually quite a few people reach out right back to me saying that they were going on there to donate and stuff. So that's awesome. I really appreciate that. I have something going with Allegheny Health Network where I'm going to try to make some videos for them towards this kind of stay inside campaign. And I'll be donating some stuff with them. We, as players with Pittsburgh, Jameson Tyone was actually the one that kind of brought the idea to us. But, you know, with all these businesses being out of work and, you know, the hospitals being full of nurses and doctors going into work and take care of everybody and kind of work in the front lines, we tried to help them out a little bit by just providing lunch and coffee for them one day. So we reached out to a couple of our favorite restaurants in Pittsburgh that we knew would be, you know, struggling from being shut down and not many people being out in the community. So we got 500 plus pizzas ordered from them. You know, I think somewhere around 50 pounds of like pasta and meatballs, just a ton of food delivered to those hospitals. And we did it in 3 different shifts so that everyone that was working that day would have a chance to get something good to eat. So just little things like that. I mean, trying to help out people that are working the front lines and help out people that are, you know, losing out on a lot of money right now, not being able to have normal business.
That's incredible. And
yeah, we love it.
Shout out to you for being able to not only use your platform for good, but take advantage of all of the things that you can to help people in need. That's fantastic. Hey, you mentioned Jameson Tyone. He's coming back, as we know, from his second Tommy John surgery. Have you talked to him at all and what his mindset is in terms of this time, you know, being good for him, that he's got a little extra rest going into the season? Where's he at?
Yeah, I talk to Jameson probably more than anybody, but we speak daily and we exchange videos. I mean, it was one guy that I was planning on spending the offseason. I was going to move to Houston last year and go train with him in Houston. And I knew a lot of people there from the days that I played, so I had a good setup. I was going to work with his trainer, but ultimately wanted to be able to throw together every day and you know, continue to progress, because the way that our rotation lined up in 18, me and him threw our bullpens on the same day. So we were playing catch and warming up together. We were watching each other's bullpens every day, and we were learning so much, and we were getting so much better just kind of working with each other every day, that we figured if we have a whole off season where the results don't matter, we can just go put in work and grind every day to get better and better and be there to kind of correct each other and hold each other accountable, that by the time season come, we would be in, you know, another realm. We just, you know, we'd take off. And unfortunately he went through that surgery and we didn't get that opportunity, but we still stayed in touch. I mean, throughout this whole process, I can say honestly that I feel like he's in a better spot now than I saw him in 18, like with his spirits and where his delivery's at. He sends me video every day of the different drills. He's in a parking garage of his apartment complex, thrown into a cement wall with a weighted baseball. So he's getting his work in every day, but just seeing the changes that he's made. And I mean, coming back from, I never had a surgery, knock on wood, but you know, coming back from a Tommy John is one of the hardest things from what I've heard. And to come back from 2 of them and a flexor repair, you know, he had the cancer scare, he had the sports hernia. I mean, it's just been one thing after another with that guy. And it sucks because you're around him enough. You see how hard he works and how much of a baseball mind he is and how good he can be when he's healthy. It almost breaks your heart to like watch someone have to go through that, So I've stayed close to him. I've tried to be like, someone for him to lean on, and he hasn't really needed it, to be honest. He's been stronger than anybody I've seen going through this. So, sharing that with him has been really special, but he has been absolutely incredible. His throwing program's going great. I think he's ahead of schedule right now, and talking to him, he's almost trying to push to get back at the end of the year and maybe throw some innings. He was hoping that, instead of throwing his innings down in Florida, he can get back up to the big league club, even if it's in late September, just to get an inning or two here or there, just to try to get back into that atmosphere of being in a big league stadium and competing with that kind of intensity and stuff. So who knows what that'll provide with this downtime, but I'm really excited to see where he's at when he's full go.
We need to get that on Some Good News. John Krasinski's Some Good News, right?
What is that? I don't know that.
Oh, it's amazing. He started this, because all we see is bad news. So he made his own home show.
Oh, what a good idea.
It's amazing. And actually, yesterday, it was announced that the Red Sox are giving 4 lifetime tickets to every employee at a hospital in Boston.
How cool is
I have that right, Lex?
I believe so. Yeah, he announced that on a show, I think.
Yeah, so he just created the show, and he gives, it's all good news from average Joes, you and me, trying to do good things in the world. So I love hearing that. That's super inspiring, and I know baseball will be better when he's back in action. That is for sure. So Joe, something that I like to do regularly is I like to Google my name because I like to see, I'll admit it, I want to know what's coming up. And so I Googled your name, and there are some fun things that come up. So I'm going to have you answer the inquiries that other people are wondering about Joe Musgrove.
Oh, God. All right.
Are you ready?
I haven't Googled my name in a long time, so I don't know what you found.
Amazing. Okay. Number 1, is Joe Musgrove married?
Joe Musgrove is not married.
Number 2, is Joe Musgrove Italian?
Sicilian.
What, he just wound up everybody.
That's the thing growing up. If somebody asks you, are you Italian? My mom, no, you're Sicilian. You're Sicilian.
Right. Get it right.
Good mom. Yeah. Is Joe Musgrove hurt?
Am I hurt? I'm not hurt. I'm healthy as can be.
Where is Joe Musgrove from?
I'm from El Cajon, California, a little small valley in San Diego.
How tall is Joe Musgrove?
He's 6'5". I would love to say 6'6", but I haven't gotten there yet, and I'm not going to cheat it.
How old is Joe Musgrove?
27. December 4th, I turned 27.
And this one, it just says Joe Musgrove, wife.
Is that a question?
I'm going to let you interpret that.
No, there's no wife.
And then Lex and I came up with our own. Mine is, what is the most expensive thing Joe Musgrove owns?
Oh my God. Well, that I purchased or that I own?
That you purchased.
I purchased, to be honest, probably, my condo in Pittsburgh. That's definitely the most expensive. But other than that, probably my car, which is not a crazy car. It's a Dodge Durango.
That's a great car.
Yeah,
that's a solid car.
Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. I got racks on top for my board. I mean, it's a gamer.
All right. And mine is, besides your phone and your family and friends, those are excluded. What's the one thing Joe Musgrove can't live without?
Coffee. It's got to be coffee. Coffee or good bourbon.
Or maybe a mix of both.
Maybe both. Yeah, maybe both.
I like that.
All right, time for show and tell, Dani.
I'm ready. So this is a new game, Joe, we're introducing on the podcast, and we're doing it because we can see you. So you have 10 seconds starting right now to grab the most interesting thing in your house. Go.
And it's not the bug zapper.
The most interesting thing, anything.
Anything. 10 seconds.
Okay.
I wonder what he's going to get.
The bug zapper was good.
That was really good. He wasted the good surprise on it.
That's a winner.
Why do you have that?
I don't know why I have.
He doesn't even know.
We had in Pittsburgh in 18, our like post-game celebration, we played the Mechon song. And after games, we'd turn all the lights off, and there was like disco balls and stuff, and everyone would throw a different animal mask on, and we just go buck wild for like 5 minutes after the game and like celebrate the win. And I love the mask. I never wanted to let him actually have more. I didn't want to let him go, so I took them all home with me. Let me show you.
Bring all your friends. They're all invited.
Bring on the weird.
All kinds of, time out. So we got the Bobcat.
No, I don't love the Bobcat. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. The llama?
Llama?
My personal favorite, yeah.
Or is it an alpaca?
I think it might be an alpaca. I don't know.
That's like Tina from Napoleon. Like, Tina, eat your dinner.
Eat your food.
Eat your food.
What do you do with those right now? Tell me you put them to good use.
Yeah, we've been having there's been a lot of live streams of like Purple Disco Machine and like Louis the Child and all these like house music. So we've been like throwing parties in here. I got disco balls, and we turn all the lights off, put the disco balls on, and throw the masks on and just get weird for a little bit.
What a great way to relieve some stress and just party and hang out.
Yeah.
Because we're all waiting so we can go to a party or see other people in person, and you're just out there jamming. All right, one more.
Looking in the windows, like, what the hell is going on?
Of course. Just get weird. That's what we do here. One more show and tell. We know you love shoes. 10 seconds to find the best pair of shoes.
Ooh, okay. My room's kind of far, so.
Okay, we'll give you a little bit more than 10 seconds.
How was he ready for that? Did you tell him that was coming?
He loves shoes. I bet he's going to whip out an awesome pair. Like some exclusive, dope, one of a kind.
My collection is so sad.
All right.
Here he comes.
What do you got?
These bad boys.
Oh, come on. Those are sick.
Golly.
Where did you get those? Those are Vans, obviously.
They're actually custom made by a fan in Pittsburgh. Her name's Ashley. And
shout out Ashley.
One of my favorite bands is they're called Pepper. They're from Hawaii. And I know the drummer pretty well, and I've gotten to meet some of the other guys in the band and listen to their music a ton. And this girl used to always post their songs on like my story and whatnot. So she started listening to their music, and then she was like, she made me like a little mini, like those little shoes you can hang from your rearview mirror. She painted one and it looked just like this. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. I thought it was super cool. She's like, if I painted a pair like skate highs, would you wear them? And I was like, hell yeah. So when I went out to FanFest this year, she met me and she had these made. She painted them herself.
Those are sick.
Yeah.
And with the good story to go with it. Those are amazing.
Yep.
So far, you are crushing this podcast. I just want to let you know you're murdering it. You're doing an awesome job.
Wait, Lex,
all right, Joe,
scale of 1 to 10. How much is he crushing it?
10.
Hold your fingers up.
12. 100.
Nice.
11.
All the figures. All right, Joe, time for rapid fire. So we're going to spit a bunch of questions at you, and you're just going to give us the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Who has the best beard in baseball?
Dallas Keuchel.
All right, first spot.
Experience it firsthand too. It's nice.
Is it fluffy?
You get up in there?
Yeah.
It's not, it's you can't touch it. That's off limits, but you can look. It's like the verticoli.
Look, but don't touch.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the first spot in Pittsburgh you're going to hit up when you get back to town?
Oh, it's so hard. Somebody asked me about that today too. So if I narrowed it down to 3, it would be Driftwood Oven, best pizza in Pittsburgh. Mola, which does like teriyaki bowls and sushi, and Chula, which is like modern Indian cuisine. It's like Chipotle style, but they do like jasmine rice with lentils and chicken and fresh roasted vegetables. It's unbelievable. So
now
I
I'm
Postmate
starving.
that. I legitimately Postmate that probably 3 times a week to my face.
It's amazing.
Single-handedly
Amazing.
keeping them in business.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
How about a teammate you'd most like to face at the plate?
That I most like to face? Just,
Mm-hmm.
I think I could punch out every time.
Yeah.
Oh God. Steven Brault. He's a pitcher, but I would love to set him up and just punch him out.
Quick side story, by the way. The first time I met you was at spring training, and you and Steven were like, I mean, I've never seen two guys more best friends than you two were best friends.
Yeah, I mean, I went to high school with the guy. He took my sister to winter formal. I've known him for a long time, and I never thought I would see him on a baseball field again after high school. But little did I know we'd be playing big league ball together on the same team.
So
Wild.
cool. What a small world.
All right. What about the longest you've ever gone without a cup of coffee?
Oof. I mean, aside from like the first 8 years of my life,
Yeah.
probably I can honestly say probably not longer than like 3 days. Maybe. Oh no. Well, I had in Venezuela, I was having like Cuban coffee, and that's like crack. Oof. That stuff's dangerous. They were serving it too, and I had never been down there. I didn't know what Cuban coffee was, and they serve it to you in this little like plastic shooter. I asked for a coffee. They gave me that, and I was like, okay, that was cute. Can I have another one? I ended up drinking like 3 of them, and I went out and I'm on the mound, and my freaking heart is beating out of my chest. Like my hands are shaking. I couldn't even pitch.
That's wild. Danny, who was the player that told us about the story about drinking the Cuban coffee in Miami and then went on the mound and almost shit himself? Do you remember that story? He like couldn't get it together, and his heart was racing. He was looking around, just waiting to get off the mound. He wasn't even focusing on what was going on at the plate.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it was a pitcher?
Not a good feeling.
Yeah. Somebody that we talked to. I don't remember. Anyway, we talk a lot about poop on this podcast because guys like talking about poop, you know.
Everybody can't keep up.
Everybody poops.
That's right. How about the most famous person in your phone?
Paul Wall, maybe? The Iceman?
Do you have a grill?
I do. He made us all grills after we won the World Series.
When's the last time you wore your grill?
Probably like 2 years ago, maybe. I still know where it is. It's still sitting in my dresser, but I used to, like, after we won the World Series that off season, I'd just like throw it. We'd have people over, we'd be like drinking at the house or something, and at a random time I'd just throw it in for like an hour at the house.
You're like, look how cool I am.
Just feel myself for a little bit. I guess the famous people on my phone are a lot of like reggae artists, a couple comedians like Theo. I don't know if you guys know who Theo Vaughn is.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple comedians in there, stuff like that. Nothing too big though.
No big deal.
Paul Wall's pretty good.
Yeah.
What about the weirdest thing you've been asked to sign?
The weirdest thing I've been asked to sign. I've been asked to sign someone's forehead. I thought that was pretty with a Sharpie. Oh no. So maybe not the weirdest, but one of the coolest ones is this guy in Houston has like a baseball tattooed on his arm, like a big baseball. And whenever he goes to games, he tries to get players to like sign the baseball in Sharpie. And then as soon as the game's over, he goes straight to his tattoo artist, and he has a tattoo guy just tattoo over the autograph. So he gets everyone's actual autograph tattooed on the baseball. I thought that was pretty cool.
That is dedication to the game unlike anything I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
All right. What about one endorsement? This is going to be easy because it's going to be coffee. Let's say it's not coffee. One endorsement that would make the most sense for you.
Vans. Vans shoes. Vans are probably the only shoes that I wear. I wear the skate highs, like the same model.
Mm-hmm.
And I wear them everywhere. I've been wearing them since I was like 13 probably. And it was mainly because it was the only shoe I could fit that had my size, and like that wasn't a fortune. They used to be like $35 or $45 for a pair of those. So I've been wearing those my whole life, and most comfortable, my favorite shoes, and I would absolutely die to have a Vans deal.
I'm a huge Van girl. Everyone's down with like Converse, and I'm like, cool, I'm down with the Chucks. Those are cute, but like I'm straight Vans all day.
Oh yeah.
I've got a white pair, and in New York, I mean, they get dirty so fast, which is super annoying, but I like them a little dirty, just a tiny bit, you know?
Character to them?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Something else that you don't really want dirty, but always ends up being dirty are toilets, Joe. And I'm wondering, how many times have you had to unclog the toilet during quarantine?
Is this another number thing, or am I just
Sure.
I don't know if I have enough fingers. No, I'm just kidding. Probably 3 or 4.
Honest.
Yeah.
Okay, so we came up with that question because I saw a lot of people tweeting about how that was a thing. And I'm like, well, that's where all the fucking toilet paper is going because y'all are shoving it down the toilet and then not flushing it. And then it gets clogged and then it ends up in your trash can. So
yeah. See, I'm a double flusher. The paper's got to go down separate. You know?
I do that too.
Courtesy flush
What?
is important.
Yep.
Yeah.
You flush separately?
Dani, where you at?
Well, first of all, if you want to get really graphic, for the smell, it just goes away.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Mhm.
It's Dani, come on. How old are you?
Do you poopery? Do you use poopery?
No, I
No?
haven't, but people swear by it.
It's a good investment. Amazon.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
Dani,
know.
come on.
I'm going to go
Get your
now.
poop game up. Get your poop game up. Hey, listen, you started this
Okay.
conversation asking about unclogged toilets.
Yeah.
I'm just
Walk
embarrassed
the
that apparently I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
Yeah.
And
Well, now
my
you
friends
know.
I'll tell you too, actually, no, I'm not going to tell you, actually. I'm doing it wrong. So I'm going to go get some poopery and apparently flush more often.
Yeah.
2 flushes. That's how you
Never
do it.
flush.
Who
Especially if
knew?
you have people over, Dani. Come on.
Let's be real. I'm not having friends over right now, first of all. And second
Well,
of
not
all,
now, but in the future. I'm setting you
I'm
up.
going to
with the
your
guest.
apartment and then I'm going to the bathroom. So that's how you play that.
Well, what? You can use the bathroom here as long as you flush twice.
You're
That's the
gonna
only
flag
rule.
her bathroom?
What'd you say?
You're gonna flag her bathroom?
Also, the plumbing in New York City, I mean, that's like a little dicey, Lex, to be honest.
Good
Flushing
question. Go out there.
twice?
No way. You flush twice.
What?
End of conversation. All right, we're moving on. Joe, since you live by the ocean, when's the last time you went skinny dipping in the ocean?
Off season probably. We haven't even been able to go in the water or step foot on the beach here. So, but in the off season, it was a common occurrence. It was usually around like 1:30 in the morning after a night out. We get back and everyone race down to the beach, hit the water, body
Beach
surf.
life.
Yeah, it's regular.
We don't do that in New York.
No, we just walk around our apartments naked so everyone can see us.
Yeah, same. So yeah. Okay, what about, Joe, 4 major league pitchers that you would want to invite to dinner with you, sit at your table, hang out?
Major league current,
Let's do past or present.
probably Pedro Martinez, Jake Peavy. I would say Trevor Hoffman, but I get to talk to Trevor quite a bit, so I wouldn't have
He's
him.
great.
And then maybe like Jack Flaherty for a young guy that's coming up, and Clayton Kershaw.
Will you say that third one more time for me?
Jack Flaherty, is that what I said?
Yeah. So
Guy?
sometimes when we do the podcast, my like Alexa on my laptop will turn on and then the audio goes away. So it's not you, it's me.
Oh,
We just had Jack Flaherty on the podcast 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
just watching his like progression in the last 2 years. I mean, he's in our division, so I see a ton of him, and that's one guy that I always, really sit and watch when he pitches. And a lot of the times I go into the clubhouse and just watch in the clubhouse from the TV, so I can actually see the view from behind and see what he's doing. But the progressions that he's made in the last 2 years are incredible, and it's fun to watch. I'd like to talk to him about it.
Great answer. How about 2 jobs you had before becoming a big leaguer?
My first job was at a Texaco gas station. My dad owned a Texaco on the same lot as that coffee shop that my mom bought. So we owned the entire lot up in like a little mountain town called Alpine, kind of out east, east of San Diego. And I used to go up with him on weekends only because I was in school. So we'd go up at like 4 a.m. on weekends. And back then it was full service. So I was pumping gas, cleaning windows. I learned how to run the register. I learned how to work in the auto shop a little bit. In the auto shop, I was just handing tools to people pretty much. I wasn't working on anything. But then I go in the back office with my dad, and he would teach me how to do the payroll and all that stuff. So that was my first job. And then my dad wouldn't let me work in high school. He wanted me to just focus on baseball and keep my grades right and, kind of put all my eggs in the baseball basket. And then my first off season, I worked at Costco, like as a seasonal worker. And I did that for like 2.5 months, maybe a month and a half, something like that. And I love that job. They paid really well. They never put me on carts. I just ran front end and filled boxes and talked to people. It was awesome.
What was the hardest part about that job?
About Costco?
Mm-hmm.
probably the go backs. That's where I got in trouble the most. Like all the items that people like pull out of their cart that they don't want, they just stock on the shelf, or like when they get up to the register, they don't want it. It all goes into like a side basket. And then you have to take that basket around the store and find where every item went and put it back. And it'd take me like an hour and a half. And I was always getting in trouble for being gone too long. And then I'd see someone I know and I'd start talking to them. And a couple times I dropped something to like get it to pop open because I wanted to eat some. And
I was waiting for that.
The inner workings. That's what we
Right.
really were going for here.
Right.
That's good stuff. Okay. Do you play Monopoly?
I play Monopoly Deal. I don't know if you know about it.
I don't, but I'm hoping my question still applies to that.
Okay.
Which Monopoly piece do you play?
God, it's been a while. I was always, growing up, I was always the dog, the little dog. Monopoly Deal that we play now doesn't have it. It's like a card game, but the dog was
The adult.
Yeah. You guys have never played Monopoly Deal? Alexa, you played it?
No.
It's incredible. You guys got to give me an address and I will buy one and send it to you guys on Amazon, but it is the greatest game.
It's
like
a board
Monopoly.
game?
No, it's a card game. So it's Monopoly, but it's shrunk down from like 5.5 hours to 15 minutes.
Oh,
You,
cool.
you play with like up to 5 people and it's a quick card game, but it's super fun. Really addicting.
Because Monopoly was like, how can we make this game more universal and more people will want to play, considering it takes 17 hours to play? Let's make it 15 minutes.
You got to start after breakfast if you want to get it finished in one day.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's a great recommendation. Last rapid fire question, your go-to post-game meal.
Salmon for sure. Our chef in Pittsburgh, Chef Tony, shout out to Chef Tony. Incredible chef. I think he used to own a couple restaurants and kind of left it to do. He does a catering business now, but he works full time for us. So he's down there in spring training with us, and he does this barbecue salmon with like barbecue sauce and like an apricot on top, and then like a risotto on the side. It's unbelievable, but it's my favorite meal that he makes, and I request it every time I'm pitching.
You're a seafood guy. I love that.
Man, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Joe, we end every podcast in epic fashion. We ask our guests to tell us an embarrassing story. So it could be something from the past or something that happened more recently, but something that was so cringeworthy to you that you wish you could take that Men in Black mind eraser stick and use it on yourself because you want to forget it forever.
Oh God. The initial one that pops into my head that's still to this day, and like it's really not that big a deal now, but like I'll never forget how like embarrassed and mortified I was when it happened. I was in elementary school. I was probably in 5th grade maybe. And it was recess time. So like recess, you only get like 13 minutes to play. Like it's really limited time. And I was like a crazy wild kid that could never sit still. So when we got recess time, it was go time. And I'm down on the soccer field playing and I got to pee so bad, but like, I'm not going to waste like 4 or 5 minutes running all the way up to the concourse to pee and then come back down. So like, I thought it'd be cool and like sneak over to the side fence and I pull my pants down and start peeing through the fence. And like the middle of the soccer game's going on, and this girl that I used to pick on all the time, and she would pick on me. We hated each other. Just blood curdling scream and like points at me, and like I'm peeing, and I turn around, I see like 3 of the security guard, or like the narcs, whatever you call them. They're like running over to me, and I had to pee so bad that I was like trying to stop, but I couldn't. So I'm like shuffling down the fence, like trying to get out of sight everybody, but I couldn't stop peeing, and like they're on me, and it was horrible.
Oh
Super
my God.
Super embarrassing.
And it's so embarrassing that it scars you still to this day.
Seriously, still to this day.
Oh,
Absolutely
man.
love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's incredible.
We appreciate that very much.
Young Joe. just trying to keep playing soccer, man.
Yeah, just trying to be a kid, you know.
Joe, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. Congratulations to all the amazing work that you're doing under the stay-at-home order. Keep it up. We'll keep watching and retweeting, and we're looking forward to seeing you this season when the season does finally get underway.
Yeah, thank you guys. I had a good time talking with you.
Scale of 1 to 10?
10.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
All right,
Joe.
you
Take
guys.
care.
See you
See
later.
ya.